Hi everyone, this is Howard from StartupRemarkable.com here, and I've got an awesome guest with me, Mark Bowness from TribeWanted.com and from TheBigAmericanGiveaway.com. And we're here having a beer, and it's a special one because this is actually not the first, not the second, but the third time we tried to do an interview, because the lords of Wi-Fi weren't happy with us when you were over in Australia, so here we are in London, so it's great to have you here.
Third time lucky.
That's it. So we're gonna do a little bit of a different interview today, because Mark is in the middle of setting up a really kind of global business that's going to be, I'm really sure is going to be really big, and he's really in the midst of creating that at the moment. I thought we kind of chat about a day in the life of what's it like to be really in the middle of that process, and we'll kind of chat with Mark about how that's going for him. So your startup, Big American Giveaway, it's a, you tell us, you give us the intro spiel on Big American Giveaway.
Yeah. It's kind of, it's a daily giveaway site, so instead of the daily deal sites like Groupon and Living Social, every single day there'll be a business that will profile their brand, their product, and they will offer a giveaway. So in order to enter their giveaway, the public have to like them on Facebook, follow them on Twitter, engage with them across the internet. So really it's a platform for brands to increase their social media profile. So that's going to happen in every state, every day in the USA in 2012. Awesome.
Now that's a pretty big kind of plan for your startup. Tell us, how's it going? How's it gone since, like, when was the first time you kind of conceived this idea?
It's funny enough, I came with the idea it was Christmas of last year, so that was kind of December 2010.
Any idea how it came to you? Or?
Do you know what? I was in Australia.
Okay.
And I was watching Australian TV.
Okay.
And it was, they love giveaways. Like, they get Oprah out there, but in terms of their own TV, it's like, oh, the audience is going to get, you see, and people go crazy for this stuff. But also the brands are really happy to kind of do that because of the exposure that it gives them. And I've spent a lot of time working on social media for brands online, and that giveaway thing, it's the same effect online. People love it, and people talk about brands because of these giveaways.
Awesome, fantastic. And you're here in London at the moment. What brings you down here? You're not from London, you came down for a couple of days. What kind of pulled you down to London? What are you working on?
Essentially just a heap of meetings. There's been some kind of interesting investments and giveaway, and so I've had to do loads of meetings here, but in order to make that happen. But as a result of that, we're kind of, you said it's a lot to do it in America, but we're also kind of making steps to launch in the UK and Australia before the 1st of January. So what we're going to do is launch in the UK in 10 cities, and in Australia we're going to launch in Melbourne and Sydney and national. Because when we launch, we've got lots of people interested, brands, but American brands are kind of saying, are you doing it in the UK, are you doing it in Australia? There's a real hunger to kind of get a product out there, and it's a real novel way of kind of doing that.
Okay, so it's November now. You first conceived it in December last year. Am I right by saying this is a one-person band, right? Yeah. Pretty much Mark is doing this. He's taken on America, now he's taken on the UK, and he's taken on Australia. Tell us what's happened in the year to get to this point? Because I know in America you've sold a lot, certainly at the first month. You've sold well. How does one man take on such a big challenge like that? How have you done it? Can you talk us through?
It's funny because I spent a lot of time from the idea in December last year till now kind of November. It kind of launched about August, September. And so that's a lot of time of preparation. Just to see whether the idea was viable, see what's going on online, and then you get to that stage where it's like you've done all your research and it's kind of like, right, I'm going to do it.
Mark, how did you find out it was valuable?
Well, I've spent a lot of time online with brands, promoting brands' social media and working as a consultant for social media agencies, some great brands, and every kind of social media consultant that I know are coming up with the idea for their brands to do a giveaway your product, increase your Facebook likes and Twitter followers, and get retweets going by giving away a product. And everybody's doing it. So to me, if we had a platform, that was the kind of idea, if there's a platform where all these businesses are essentially coming together, so the database grows, and you basically find the audience for your particular product as it gets chucked out every single day via email and Twitter and Facebook. And so it was just so many people are coming up with these ideas for brands. To me, it was, we'll bring this all together to create a platform in order to do so, and to really kind of be of value to small businesses too.
Okay. Awesome. So you saw that it was all fragmented all over the place and said, I can centralise this and make one platform for it.
Yeah.
Love it. So I interrupted you there. You were saying that you validated, you'd done your research, you were kind of validated the idea. What kind of came next for you to get
websites?
Yeah.
It's kind of, a lot of it was kind of my own finances.
Yeah.
So you have to get the right website for the right price.
Do you build websites? No. Okay.
No idea.
Right. Okay.
So essentially, and it's a great tool, but I use like people per hour. Elance.
Sure.
There's a great site called Odesk.
Of course. Yeah.
Which I absolutely love, and and that really is, as many of your audience will know, is you check up your project, and it is a real kind of hit and miss in terms of the responses that you get, and you kind of have to sift through them and all that kind of stuff. And I eventually started working with a company in India, and it's just absolutely amazing. These guys are like 20-year-olds in India, and they do the sales pitch and in a really good way, but they've got the product to back it up and the coding, and they're just taken over an office in India. And I was just like, it is kind of a risk, but I love what they're doing, and these guys are so passionate about doing it. So we worked together, and it took a few months to kind of understand each other, all cultural and all that kind of stuff. And so they built a website, and then I had to test it. I tested it with a few people. And, when I'm testing stuff like a website, I never ask for what are the good points about it. I just want to know what are the bad things. I'm going to do this idea anyway. What can you tell me that will improve it? So there was a lot of that, the usability and the functionality and working your way around the site and all that kind of testing stuff. So we did all that, and then obviously after that, the site was kind of ready. It was all about the kind of marketing. How the heck are we going to get this thing out there?
And just before you move on to that, Mark, up to this point, right? So you've got now a website that looks kick-ass, and I can vouch for it. It's a great looking website. Can you tell us how much it cost you to get to that point? How much of an investment? But aside from your time, because I know you're putting all your time into it, just to get to that point financially, how much do you? Is that something you'd be okay sharing?
Yeah, the site. That site was about. It was about $1,000.
Okay.
The design and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Eventually, now, when we first launched, it was a few £100, and now we've improved it and developed it since. And that's the thing. It goes live, and then the audience engage with it, and then you have to develop it. So to this point now, we've put. It goes live, and we have to do a load of things on it. So at this stage, it's about $1,000.
Yeah, that's really such a global business that's essentially launched for that amount of money. Amazing.
Yeah, it is incredible.
Yeah, it is. It's very, very, very cool. And now the big challenge is marketing, because you were in Australia up until a few weeks ago, and now you're here in London. Yet your main market is the US. that. I can only imagine what it's like trying to sell things in America while you're not even in the country. How have you tackled that?
Well, just on that, it is the American market, but anybody from around the world who has a product and online business can promote buy giveaway day for the American market. So I'm really tapped into, again, the research. Who are the kind of movers and shakers? What are the key marketing kind of avenues? Who was kind of pulling together communities of small business owners, entrepreneurs, all that kind of stuff, and again did a lot of research on that. And I knew that I had to put some money into that, but you want to make as little mistakes as possible.
So you found one or a few places that you knew that they had access to lots of your target market, which were small business owners.
Yeah.
Awesome. Can you give me any examples of those?
One's a site called Harrow, helperreporter.com, and I followed that for years.
That's
a
great
site. But literally, it was a great audience, and we launched to them. I essentially sponsored one of their emails and goes out to like 140,000 people or whatever. And it went out. I was in Australia. It went out at 8 p.m. in Oz, and I was literally like still in front of the computer at 5 o'clock in the morning. The sales were coming through. People emailing, calling, and business owners really loving it. And that was like a significant amount of our sales, and the return on investment for that was like it was at least like 3 times the investment we put into it, which was awesome. And since then we've kind of done other avenues of similar kind of marketing that haven't worked so well. You've got to learn what doesn't work, but it's a great website.
Awesome. Yeah, and so you're here today. You made a ton of sales through these different avenues. What do you think is your current challenges? Like, what's the biggest kind of challenges you face today?
The fact that we launched in 50 states, I had a bit of a crisis last week, and I was just like, should I pull back on some of these states? Should I kind of apologise to the few people that bought on some of the states and kind of scale it back a bit? But I just kind of felt that would be negative, that people might start kind of being concerned about the whole thing.
Why did you feel that, Mark? Is it just because it's too overwhelming, or?
Yeah, massively overwhelming. I mean,
for one guy, let's not forget now, Mark's doing this on his own.
We're talking about 50 giveaway days per day, so 50 business profiles that we need to write and get out there per day. So as you say, it's the kind of the writing of that, plus the sales to keep the whole thing going and growing. So my goal right now is to sell the first month in every state. And bearing in mind, like day 30, in the first state is $30 because the price has increased by $1 per day. So it's not that much money. It's just getting the word out there. But the big thing for me was when that email went out to Help a Reporter, I knew it could work because it wasn't just a product that in my head was a great idea, and we can all convince ourselves that our business plans our ideas are going to be the next big businesses. But people were paying for it because they wanted it. So then it was just like, this is great. Now it's about getting out there to as many people as possible. So that was a real encouragement as well.
And Mark, you got like a great track record with your other project, Tribe Wanted and stuff. Like, there's tons of people that would like to help you in this project. Would you you ever considered like taking on somebody to help you? Because
I mean, the whole thing's kind of growing slowly but surely. I've just kind of brought on board a girl who's writing some of that text for me. So I'm trying to remove some of that. And the pressure of that. So she's writing the text for the 1st of January kind of launch and get as many written as possible. And just kind of looking to go as the right people come along. Like any kind of entrepreneur, I suppose, but like, you're passionate about your business, and it's really hard to hand that baby over because sometimes in your mind you think that they can't do it as well as you can. Crazy attitude.
Totally. I think it happens to everybody.
So it is growing and it is developing. The right team kind of all coming together.
No, totally. How do you find the like your kind of work-life balance with that? All these trying to do all these things on your shoulders. How do you find like the I suppose work-life balance? Like, how are you finding it?
Well, I'm addicted to this.
Yeah.
And I think there's probably a case for kind of doctors type. There is an addiction here in terms of people passionate about running their business, and
yeah.
I've had to evaluate a lot about like, why am I doing this? For it to start with, I was in business for the wrong reasons. It was all about ego and all that kind of, who could I be and what would people see me as, and I actually have had a process of working through that, because on that basis I was launching ideas and stuff on the wrong kind of foundation.
And this is on your previous businesses?
Yeah,
okay.
for sure.
Cool.
And it's about getting that right. So the work-life thing, I'm addicted to it. I'm in a room every single day, and it's to family, friends, and it's really hard to find that balance. And sometimes I just get out there, just get out for a day and just go around town or whatever, just to give your mind some space. But even when I'm with friends and family, they kind of know sometimes that I'm not exactly there. And it's really hard because it's American too, and because people can buy days from anywhere around the world. Emails are 24/7.
Totally.
And it's a bad thing that you've got it on your phone and you've got this email popping up, and it's like,
if you wait too long, you'll miss out on sales. So, Mark, that process you're saying about evaluating the reasons, because like that's one thing I totally see. Like, I'm a bit addicted to all my work. I think most entrepreneurs probably are. What was that process, and how did you kind of work that out?
I mean, not to go too deep, but like, I know a lot of the stuff. Everybody's got, the whole life comes from somewhere, who they are and what they're about. And as a kid, I was bullied quite a bit. And I know that I developed this kind of attitude in my mind that I was going to prove to them one day. I mean, they don't even, trying to prove to these imaginary people in my head that kind of don't exist in my life anymore. And it was all about, I'll show them that I can get that car or whatever. I remember walking around like stupid, like Alton Towers, theme park in the UK, and I had this dream that like one day I'd be able to like have Alton Towers closed down just for me and my friends, and we'd go on. This is like as a 10-year-old. I wanted to have the money to be able to close down Alton Towers just for me. So I'd always have these dreams, but it's that kind of process of, why am I doing this? What am I here for? What is my time whilst I'm alive for? And I'm really big on that stuff, And now it's all about, I just love what I do. I absolutely love what I do, and I think I think there's a lot of potential in people that they don't realise, that they could be the next whatever, doing the next whatever, and I just encouraging people to run with that.
Awesome. And do you have a hard set rule to try and balance that out? Like, one day a week that just will not work, or do you just do it as you feel you need it?
Yeah, it's kind of as I feel I need it. You kind of get to that point where it's like, I've got to get out.
Okay.
And that's cool.
Cool. So you've had a few startups before. Some of them have been like absolutely huge, global businesses. And what are the main things you've learned through those processes over the last few years of doing startups and stuff that you're trying to apply now?
It's kind of really weird for me, because the first business that I had, TryWanted.com, released an album in Fiji, and that literally got in the media around the world. We went and did Good Morning America, Today Show. It was in South China Morning Post. And it was huge. And so I developed this. That was my first business. I developed this unrealistic kind of understanding of what a business was. So I'd originally thought that I'm kind of from a creative marketing kind of background. So my understanding was just come up with a big idea, create a story around it, that'll get in the press, it'll make the business work. And, Tribe Wanted, I realised afterwards, a long time afterwards, was just, it was a kind of random kind of shot, it wasn't an everyday, this is how a business works. So I tried to, and some of the ideas I've had, I think are quite good, but they were good if you had £1 million to start with, you launched it on £1 million, you got the marketing out there and all that kind of stuff, and so I've had to really kind of scale back because of the success of the first business. And now it's about, it's got to be a good idea, but also what is the revenue? Where is the revenue stream? Where's it coming from day one?
Yeah.
And that's what I kind of focus on now.
Okay. And is there any other kind of other things that you've kind of, I suppose, learned, kind of tricks that you've learned from your previous businesses, maybe mistakes you've made, other than that you kind of...
I mean, the biggest thing I've kind of learned is don't believe in your own hype.
Is that right? Okay.
It's taken a while to realise that, like, we all convince ourselves, as I said earlier, that our ideas are the best, and they are going to be the next whatever. You are going to be the next brand store. This is going to be the next business that will generate millions, and it's important to have that self-belief, but it's equally important to have that critical reflection.
Yeah.
And I can do that now. I can look at an idea that I've come up with and look at the good stuff and the bad stuff.
Yeah.
And kind of it's almost kind of I don't know, but it's kind of psychotic where you're kind of like, play the positive guy, play the negative guy.
Do you do it all yourself, or do you have like a team of mentors that you can kind of go, okay, I've got this kick-ass idea? Because I know if I ask my family, they're all going to tell me it's great.
Yeah.
So, like, do you have trusted people that you know that will give you like more realistic answers, or is it all an internal thing?
Well, again, it's a mixture of both. So the whole kind of team that I kind of relate to, I'm kind of, again, like I said, I'm asking questions like, don't tell me it's a great idea, because I know it's actually the basis of a great idea.
Yeah.
That kind of sounds arrogant, but I wouldn't be talking to anybody about it if they didn't think it.
Yeah.
But tell me what's wrong about it. Tell me what won't work about it. Tell me the flaws in it, the holes in it.
Yeah.
And that's what I kind of go on. If I'm passionate about an idea, I know I'm going to do it. It's not convince me out of it. It's help me improve it.
Okay. Cool. Okay. And Mark, lastly, you're taking on, like, quite literally the world at the moment. Where are you going to be in a year? How do you find, what do you think is going to happen? Where would you like to be in a year? And what needs to happen between now and then?
Yeah, ideally I'd love to develop teams so that we've got a team around America, big American giveaway, we've got a team around Australia and a team around the UK,
right.
And eventually I'd love to kind of roll it out so that we're doing all cities that are viable in the UK and in Australia. So ideally I'd love to have full teams around the three of them, and we go into year 2, and obviously once we've had our database of business owners for year 1, we launch year 2 and we kind of send that email out to them by the day. So it's a long process, but I'd love to have this brand. And like I've said to you before, and I know you're the same, but I love travel. It's the whole idea for me is to come up with an idea that I can just run from my laptop anywhere in the world.
Nice. Yeah.
And if I can get to that stage, I'm a happy man.
Rock on. Like, I firmly believe you'll get there, Mark. You'll get there. It'll be awesome. You're on bigamericangiveaway.com?
Yes.
Yeah. And is the UK sites, or are they live yet? Or?
So bigamericangiveaway.com, bigbritishgiveaway.com, and bigaussiegiveaway.com.
Is that right? Okay. Awesome. And you've got a personal blog as well?
markbowness.com.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
And I'll put all those links in the interview show notes, just underneath the blog post here. So Mark, it's been a pleasure. Great to finally sit down and chat, because the guys weren't with us before, so it's been great, and I'm going to keep an eye on Big American Giveaway, because it's such a cool project.
Thank you.
Nice one, Mark.
Stay in touch.
Cheers.